Coming up on News Live at 6, camp now, study later. Otto's Army's annual Duke Campout starts tonight, and we'll take a live look at the JMA Wireless Dome.
Plus, this is Jeopardy! Syracuse University got a shout out in last night's episode. See if the contestants knew their SU history.
And no deal. Krause Hospital in Upstate will not move forward with plans to merge. Details on that. The news begins right now.
News leader.
SU versus Duke means it's tent time for many students on campus. Good evening. I'm Chile Cassiadelle.
And I'm John Perrick. Tonight, die-hard Syracuse men's basketball fans will plant themselves around the outside of the dome in the hopes of getting the best seats to Syracuse's game.
New at 6 tonight, that's where Citrus TV's Annalise Piemonte joins us live. Annalise, are you seeing a lot of people out there?
Well, here, Chile, at the JMA Wireless Dome at Gate E, we are not seeing a ton of people yet because the annual Duke Syracuse campout has just begun. But I am here with John Fiore, the Vice President of Otto's Army. It's your second year camping out, correct?
It is, yes. I'm happy to be here at the JMA Wireless Dome. I'm excited for my second year camping. And I think we're going to have a lot more people, too, this year.
Yeah, great. That was literally my next question. So temperatures are feeling a lot warmer than they have in past years. So you think that's going to affect the amount of participants we see?
Yeah, we're hoping that it leads towards more campers. It's always a good sign when we hear from barns that there are no more tents available to rent, which means we're going to have a lot of people here. We had around 50 groups last year, so hoping for more than that and a big turnout at the game itself.
Yeah, that's great. So what's your reward here? What's the end goal? What are you hoping for in camping out?
The reward is just to have fun, be with your friends, make a college memory, but also, of course, get good seats for the game. So we'll get in around 2 o'clock or 2:33 tomorrow, and the game's at 6. And so we'll go in single file and get the front row seats.
Great, that sounds great. And what's your game prediction?
Game prediction, definitely Syracuse on top. I'm hoping by double digits, but I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think it'll go to overtime. I think it'll be a big game by Jesse Edwards, too. Hoping for it.
Wow, that sounds great. So what does this tradition really mean for Otto's Army?
Well, it's one of our signature events. We've been doing it for a while now. It goes over the course of a few days. We're camping tonight and tomorrow night. There's also a women's lacrosse game that we're encouraging everyone to go to in between. And it's just a big event that we love doing every year.
Well, Chile and John, excitement is really kicking up over here. We're hoping to see a lot more participants fill in the next hour or so. I'm going to send it back to you guys.
Annalise, thank you. It will be a busy weekend in and outside of the dorm for sure. Well, SU hosted its Spring Involvement Fair this afternoon. There's our social media director, Brooke Siegel, manning our Citrus TV table. Dozens of recognized student organizations filled Shines Auditorium today from 12 to 3 to learn more about the different missions of each organization.
Producer Lee Stolman will be visiting Syracuse tomorrow. The producer of the Maze Runner series, which made $1 billion globally, will be speaking in Newhouse from 1 to 2 p.m. Stolman also worked for 19 years as a talent agent representing artists such as Bruce Willis, Alec Baldwin, Kevin James, and more. His recent works include Hollywood's Stargirl for Disney Plus and All Together Now for Netflix. Stolman graduated from the Whitman School of Management in 1988.
What is Syracuse University was the answer to one of last night's Jeopardy questions. The $400 question in the ACC school history category asked what school chose its official colors of pink and green in 1872, but was later changed to orange in 1890 by its students. You can see that up there on your screen right now. Contestant Stephen Webb guessed the answer correctly. Other questions in the category included clues about Boston College, Clemson, and the University of Miami.
And tonight, Orange After Dark is hosting a Palentine's Day event in the Goldstein Auditorium. Grab some pals and head over to the Shine Student Center for a night of food and fun to celebrate a belated Valentine's Day. Students requesting accommodations can reach out to oad.syr.edu.
And tomorrow from 4 to 5, former Detroit Mayor and Hall of Famer Dave Bing will be speaking in Maxwell Hall. The talk, titled Attacking the Rim, will touch on many of the same themes from Bing's 2020 autobiography with the same title. After the discussion, attendees will be able to meet Bing during a reception. Parking for the event is available at the Irving Garage, and copies of Bing's autobiography will be available for purchase.
And last year, the NCAA paved the way for college athletes to earn money through name, image, and likeness deals, also referred to as NIL. Since then, colleges have struggled with the policy, saying it was confusing. This has prompted the NCAA to recently change it. And Max Williams is live outside the JMA Wireless Dome tonight to tell us how Syracuse University is responding to the new policy. Max?
Thanks, John. Yeah, the NCAA had changed their policy to 4 new guidelines. Now, those are an institutional staff member cannot guarantee an NIL deal to a student or their family. Prior to enrollment, an institutional representative cannot announce or enter into an NIL agreement with a prospect. A NIL deal cannot require a prospect to be in locale, and a collective cannot be involved in recruiting activities prior to students' enrollment. Now, many are saying that this change has sparked controversy has caused a threat to schools that they are abusing the NIL system. But despite confusion and controversy, Syracuse University believes they have found a solution. I sat down with Dave Maloney, assistant teaching professor at the Fall College, and he tells me what Syracuse approach is to the new policy.
In all sports, and all of our coaches are looking for an athlete that's going to fit their system. I don't see a scenario, and Deion Sanders said it great a couple weeks ago. If a kid says to me, I need 70 grand without learning about Colorado or Syracuse or what academic programs are available, that kid's not going to fit the system. It's just not going to happen.
Once students are recruited into the Syracuse sports system, Maloney says they are taking a unique approach of utilizing NIL deals as a means of education.
The great part about this is we're taking a student who is also an athlete and we're teaching them indirectly entrepreneurial skills. Everybody can use entrepreneurial skills in any capacity you want. You can dive into NIL in whatever form you want.
Well, this entrepreneurial approach is what Maloney is most excited about. He says student athletes around the country are confused by the NIL policy, but their system allows students to be gradually immersed into the NIL policy. Reporting from the JMI Wireless Dome tonight, I'm Max Williams.
Max, thank you. From name, image, and likeness to today's image outside. You know, we had that nearly 70-degree day yesterday.
Oh boy, I love that.
And today, gloomy and doomy, right?
Yeah, but not too bad. Not too bad. I didn't really have to wear a jacket. My phone told me, though, that this morning it said by this time it would be pouring outside. Well, it didn't look like it was going to be raining, but someone who knows a few more things than my phone is our weather anchor, Cora Mayer Costa, who joins us. Cora, tell me, is the rain going to come?
Well, lucky for us, by the time we leave the studio, it won't be raining, but unluckily for those people waiting outside of the dome, it will be thunderstorming. So right now it's sitting at 46 degrees. It's going to drop down to 44, a little breeze you'll feel. And so as we look into tonight, though, it's going to rain until 3 a.m. So hopefully those in the dome have waterproof tents and everything. It'll be 32 and winds up to 13 miles per hour. So I got for the people at the dome a whole camp out starter kit. So hopefully they've got a ton of blankets, a rainproof winter jacket, and an umbrella. And hopefully all of their tents are, again, waterproof because it will be raining and a chance of thunderstorms. So really hope they stay safe and have a good time for the game that's on Saturday. Impressive. Back to you guys.
Well, thank you very much, Cora. And Upstate and Krause hospitals are calling off their proposed merger. The hospitals released a joint statement today saying the two have entered into what they call a strategic affiliation agreement. Upstate and Krause say the pact will allow for future collaboration and improve care for patients. Upstate's Upstate's president says the decision is due to economic and operational issues.
Dozens of parents are frustrated with the Baldwinsville School Board, many calling on board members to resign. This comes after a student was murdered by her father 3 weeks ago, and the board responded with a six-figure buyout days later. Many parents feel unheard as they say the board is not responding to calls or emails and is keeping many resignations without public discussion. During meetings, each member of the public is only given 3 minutes to speak and is then cut off.
And a 28-year-old man has pleaded guilty after being found with 2 pounds of fentanyl. Trayman Wallace has the pills mailed to his apartment through the U.S. Postal Service, and another 34 grams of the drug was found in his apartment. Prosecutors say Wallace had the intent to sell the drug. The U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration seized over $71,000 in drug proceeds. Wallace now faces anywhere between 10 years to life in prison.
A 63-year-old man died yesterday after a medical emergency on his ATV. Paul Swisher was driving the ATV along his trails on his property in Lafayette when the emergency happened, causing the ATV to crash and pin him down. Friends and family that were also using the trails found Swisher underneath the ATV unresponsive. Troopers pronounced Swisher dead at the scene.
And 2 fishermen were rescued from Oneida Lake yesterday as the temperature hit a record high. One fisherman was stranded around noon and had to be rescued by an airboat, while another was stranded later in the afternoon after driving his ATV onto the ice. Onondaga County Sheriff's Office warns that everyone should be precautious when stepping on the ice, and they say it is not as thick as everyone thinks.
New details tonight on that Syracuse baby's tragic overdose. A 38-year-old man has rejected the offer to take a lie detector test over the death of a baby due to a fentanyl overdose. Quinn Hoon has maintained that he did nothing wrong in the death of Liam Salve, who ingested 23 times more fentanyl than the fatal dose for adults. Both Hoon and the baby's mother, Elizabeth, were charged with second-degree manslaughter for their recklessness. Hoon's case will now be presented to a grand jury.
And Micron is making another cost-cutting move amid a slump in the computer chip industry. Bloomberg reports computer chip sales are down significantly as consumers buy fewer personal computers. Micron already announced it would be cutting jobs by 10%. Micron CEO says his salary reduced by 20%, while executive vice president and senior vice presidents will see pay cuts between 15 and 10%. Non-employee members of the board will also take pay cuts near 20%.
Back to the healthcare scene, where Rome Health will receive $26 million in funding from the New York State Department of Health. The funding will go towards, in addition to the hospital, to modernize surgical services. 4 new operating rooms designed to accommodate for new advancements in medical technology will replace the existing rooms, which have been in use for more than 57 years. The project is designed to allow for continued surgical services during construction. And coming up on News Live at 6. Empty seats. New York lawmakers move to let assembly members vote remotely.
Plus, not so excellent. Our Olivia Maniscalco cracks into that increase in egg prices. We'll be right back.
watching Citrus TV News live at 6 with John Parent, Chillicothe Adele, and Cora Mayer Costa. Now, your campus news leader continues.
Welcome back. The price of eggs increased by 60% in 2022, but it hasn't just become an inconvenience for people like you and me at the grocery store. Olivia Maniscalco tells us how egg farmers are also facing increased production costs.
What came first, the chicken or the egg? This little guy thinks it's the chicken. Unbeknownst to them, it is getting harder and harder for farmers to keep these chickens and hens. You probably have noticed an increase in the price of eggs. Well, American farmers can feel this too. Co-owner of Flippity Flap Farms, Sanella Della Helgerson, has noticed it is getting more and more expensive to produce these eggs.
It's affecting our business because we have to increase our egg prices because we have to pay more for feed and transportation to get the feed. You have to have a significant number of hens, and so when the feed goes up, you really see that in your costs because hens and chickens in general eat a lot of food.
She says it was about 3 years ago when she noticed prices for chicken feed going up. Sanella and her husband have started selling California meat rabbits to make up for profits lost by what they would usually be earning from eggs.
We did have to do that because of, our veggies and our eggs aren't sufficient enough for us to sustain ourselves.
Many farmers in America are being impacted by a bird flu that is killing large herds of chickens. This is playing a part in raising consumer prices for eggs, including for some students here at Syracuse who are on a tight budget. Luckily, Sanella's chickens are as healthy as can be.
New York State's Assembly members have implemented a new rule. It allows them to vote without showing up to the Assembly chamber. The passed resolution includes a paragraph about fast roll call voting pertaining to party line votes.
The provision says a member's vote will be marked affirmative without being on the floor. All an Assembly member has to do is swipe in their attendance card at the beginning of the day. Democrats say this improves the efficiency of the Assembly, while Republicans are voicing outrage.
And Governor Hochul says state parks had record attendance in 2022. Nearly 80 million people visited a New York State park last year. That's 1 million more visitors than 2021.
Attendance at state parks has been gradually climbing for over a decade. Among the most visited parks last year were Niagara Falls with over 9 million visitors and Jones Beach out on Long Island with 8.5 million visitors.
And the trial of the man who killed 10 people in Buffalo could be held this summer.
Magistrate Judge Ken Schroeder says the trial of mass shooter Peyton Gendron will begin by early July, unless defense attorneys or prosecutors give him a good reason to delay.
This comes after Gendron was already found guilty on 27 federal charges and sentenced to life in prison due to the racist attack at the Tops Market. Schroeder says the only thing left to be decided is if federal prosecutors will seek the death penalty.
To the latest now, President Biden says the U.S. is looking to amend its approach to handling those unknown aerial objects after those three still unidentified objects were shot down over the weekend. The president says there is not any evidence yet pointing to nefarious behavior from foreign actors.
Yet know exactly what these three objects were. But nothing right now suggests they were related to China's spy balloon program or that they were surveillance vehicles from any other country.
Now, after Biden spoke, he was challenged by reporters who asked about whether the administration overreacted to the balloon sightings. The president later told NBC News that the military recommended the actions taken and that he plans to speak with Chinese President Xi Jinping.
Tonight, residents of East Palestine, Ohio are demanding answers as it's now been over a week since a train was derailed carrying toxic chemicals. Tonight, fears are growing as the Ohio Department of Natural Resources reports the spill is to blame for the sudden death of thousands of fish and livestock.
Ohio Governor Mike DeWine says tests from the wells in East Palestine have come back negative. During his press conference yesterday, he was asked if he would if you would drink water in East Palestine. DeWine responded saying, quote, "Absolutely. If I was there right now, I would drink it."
To Michigan, new details tonight on the shooter who allegedly killed 3 Michigan State students before killing himself. Police say 2 guns were found on the shooter. Both were purchased legally, but police add neither were registered.
Police also say a note was found on the shooter. Tonight, police are working to learn more about the motives that led the shooter to open fire. Police also say the condition of one of the injured students has been updated to stable. 4 others are still in critical condition.
Is the weather here to stay? Stay tuned to find out.
So you're doing your regular? Okay.
My own peers have told me this. Every single one of them have told me now they want to be like me now. I want people to laugh about it, but I also want them to see what is a typical day is like at the university. One day I was on the trolley going up to the South Campus one day, and then all of a sudden I was not expecting this, and then all of a sudden, yes, that's our TV star Thomas.
My name is Jenna Cooper, and I am the relationship psychologist.
My name is Paige Phillips. I am the astrologer, and this
is Psych vs. Stars.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
So the sun will come out just in time for the game against Duke this Saturday. As we see, there will be some rain and snow showers, but only in the morning until 3 a.m. So again, campgoers, beware. Monday's going to be a similar type weather, a little rainy throughout the day. Tuesday, it's going to still be cloudy, but you're going to be able to throw a Frisbee out, maybe read on the quad like everyone was yesterday. Guys, back to you.
Coming up on sports, Syracuse women's lacrosse has another date with the top 5 team this weekend. All that and more after the break.
Hi, my name is Sadie Miller.
My name is Luke Brady. I go by St. Luke.
So this one I started with this guitar lick.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Hey everyone, welcome into sports. I'm Will Henschel. For most college sports teams, the first few games of a season are a good time to test the waters and feel things out before getting into the meat and potatoes of the schedule. But for Syracuse women's lacrosse head coach Kayla Trainer and stars like the Tyrell sisters, there is no such thing as a warm-up lap. Less than a week after taking down the number 4 team in the nation, Northwestern, SU basically needs to do it all over again. This time, number 3 Maryland comes into the Dome for a Friday showdown. This game will not be easy. The Terrapins lost in last season's Final Four to eventual runner-up Boston College. In this year's season opener, St. Joseph's was wiped off the map, 15-5 by Maryland. Chrissy Thomas and Jordan Lipkin both scored 3 for the Terps. Opening draw control inside the JMA is tomorrow at 3. On the hardwood, Syracuse women's basketball closes out its 3-game gauntlet against ranked opposition tonight against number 24 Florida State. The Orange started this trip with an impressive win against number 14 North Carolina last week. Then the journey took the team to South Bend and ultimately a loss to Notre Dame. Charlie Cream of Bracketology said if SU can take 2 of these 3 games in the gauntlet, it puts the Orange in a very good spot for March. But time is running out for the Cuse. If the Orange want to get into the big dance, a win against FSU is almost a requirement at this point. It'll be a battle of the 2 leading scorers in the ACC. Tanaya Latson and Deasia Fair have been near automatic the entire season, averaging over 20 points each. In the past 2 games against top 25 teams, Fair has scored 50. It'll be a shortened Orange bench for the remainder of the season. Cheyenne McEvans announced on Twitter today that she tore her ACL against Boston College and will be out for the rest of the year. The game is already going on inside Tallahassee as we speak. For one final look at weather, let's go to the weather desk.
Before we get there, we're going to take a little bit of a break. We'll be right back.
From Studio B.
It's going to be 39 degrees when you wake up. Guys, back to you.
Well, Cora, thank you. That's our Thursday broadcast for this evening.
Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CitrusTV News.
Now for Cora, Will, and the entire Citrus TV News team, I'm John Perrick.
And I'm Chillicothe Adele. Thanks for the company and good night.